This is John Murphy at Murtech.com with your daily news update. Okay, here we are on April the 16th in the year of our Lord 2026, and I hope you're having a great day. We've got some great information for you tonight. Let's go ahead and click Murtech on Rumble and jump over here to my Rumble channel. This is the video we're going over tonight, episode 1889. It says upcoming, but as you know, you are actually watching it, so let's go ahead and jump in here. Hi, Susan Poll 2016. Thanks, Susie Poll 2016. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello. All right, let's close that out, slide down here, and click the Show More button to expand out the description box. And we have information from Dan Bongino, Kim's Coffee Talk, Doug in Exile, and Wendy Bell Radio. But before we get into that, I do have some shout outs to give from Sujith Peria just started following my channel. Big Brick just started following my channel. Hanoka Noki 5767A11 just started following my channel. Meme 123456. Mime just 123456, or is that MLM? 123456. At any rate, they follow my channel. Thank you very much, folks. I greatly appreciate that. I hope you're tuned in, and I hope you enjoy the content. Okay, WBS reposted my episode 1888. Honakia 5767A11 and Fisher C45 commented on my daily news wrap-up. WBS commented on my episode 1888. WBS also commented on my extra 671A. WBS and Foxy Grandma commented on my extra 671B. And WBS commented on my extra 671C. So thank you very much, folks, for sharing my videos and also your comments. I enjoy reading your feedback, and I definitely appreciate your support. So let me give this a thumbs up. There we go. And if you could give me a thumbs up, I have one of those little thumbs up icons right here below the video you're watching. If you could slide down and poke it or click it with your mouse, that would be great. Okay, Dan Bongino. This is what Inaction looks like, episode 2496. So let's see what he's talking about here.
I don't want to get dead, and I certainly don't want to get dead with a freaking mushroom cloud over anywhere near Martin County, Florida, or anywhere in the United States, or anywhere in the world for that matter. Nuclear holocaust is a really bad thing, and we should avoid it at all costs. Because, ladies and gentlemen, as has been said many times and is accurate, there is no winning a nuclear war. I'm going to recommend you a movie. I've done it before, but for those of you who are new to the podcast, I welcomed a few people in the chat this morning. Thank you for your kind words. That is me in the chat. It's not some scam we pull with other people pretending to be me. There's a movie on Netflix called The House of Dynamite. There's a left-leaning director. If you'll notice, there's like an Obama picture in the background. I don't care. It's actually, for a moment, it's worth checking out. It's a little dramatic, but in my experience dealing with Whizzer and everything else, the Situation Room, and the actual mechanics of it are not that off. It's a hypothetical scenario about what a nuclear launch towards the United States would look like and how the whole thing collapses into just minutes. Highly recommend it. And the only reason I recommend it, even though it's a little bit over the top and dramatic, and ending is like, whatever, it is a wake-up call that this is a very real threat. The presence of nuclear weapons, of course, is not in dispute. The fact that the Iranians have nuclear material they want to convert into a nuclear weapon while chanting death to America is not in dispute either. They have a case of the for reals. Like, they're not kidding. My experience in government in the last year was eye-opening. Because when you see the timeline in the movie compressed down to 18 minutes, played over and over again, the 18 minutes may be a little bit brief. It may be a little longer than that. However, what I'm trying to tell you is if a nuclear weapon's launched toward the United States and you think there's hours to respond, you're crazy. There aren't hours to respond. And the problem is, I think of even the things that happen, tragedies that are terrible, but are nothing compared to a nuclear launch towards the United States. That night, those two Israeli diplomats were shot in D.C. and my security detail was knocking on my apartment door in D.C. Folks, it took us 5 minutes to get out the door. Like 5 minutes, that's short. No, it's an eternity when you're dealing with maybe 20 minutes to respond to a nuclear launch. It took 5 minutes to get out the door before I woke up and processed what was happening. That was for a tragedy, but nothing on the scale of a nuclear war. And there's no winning a nuclear war. I want you to listen to this. It's about a minute, not long. This is Eric Weinstein with Konstantin Kisin on Trigonometry, talking about how there is no scenario by which anybody wins the second one of these things is launched. Everyone loses, period. Check this out.
What are the long-term effects of these types of weapons? Does it mean that the land that they have been detonated on will never be able to bear fruit, etc.?
Well, my understanding is that the hydrogen ones are actually cleaner, that you really have gamma radiation in the form of photons that are very hard to guard against. And the other ones have these radioactive isotopes that linger on for forever. But I've never really cared that much about the post-war scenarios. My feeling is that once you get going, everything that you know about life as we've led it is gone.
So, and not to say nothing of the fact that, as we understand it currently, I think if you had nuclear war between major players, the tit for tat would actually end all human life on Earth, wouldn't it?
Even if it didn't. You're talking about setting back everything that we know of as life, as modern life, to levels that I don't know whether there's subsistence living or hunter gathering or somebody's got some crazy compound, but I'm not going there. It's too much. And by the way, there's a comparable version of this for pandemic, and we're talking about playing with things where we're just not. If you saw what happened with COVID, it just took over the planet.
Folks, I'm a spreadsheets guy. I like to think I'm a rational maximizer who processes inputs to formulate a reason output. I don't like dumb cliches. I don't like, rules of thumb that aren't rules of thumb. People say ridiculous cliches like, well, you can't put a price on a human life. Well, people do that all the time. People take calculated risks. Follow me for a moment. This is important. Human beings take calculated risks and put a price on their life every single day. People who work in really, really dangerous businesses, whether it's the military, whether it's police officers, construction workers, where that's a really dangerous field. They understand they could die. They have put a price on their life. That's not a statement of immorality. It's a statement of fact. It's actually a statement of bravery that they say, wow, there's a good chance within context, I could die in this job in the military or construction, and I do it anyway because I have to support my family. You can all understand. You can't put me. There are people who go out and get on planes every day. Occasionally, sadly, a plane crashes. It's rare, but it's not zero. It happens. You have determined that risk is worth it for you to travel on a vacation or go on a business trip and make money. You made that decision. You put that price on your life. I bring that up because allowing the Iranians to get a nuclear bomb that would end all of civilization, your kids, your grandkids, you, your dog, your pet parakeet, you're all dead. And if you're not dead, as Weinstein just stated, you're at most subsistence living until you die of probable radiation poisoning or a horde of lunatics raping your wife and killing you because there's no law enforcement and society breaks down. That chance is not even close to zero. You give the Iranians a nuclear weapon, the problem of a nuclear exchange is realistically probably 5 to 10%. And you're willing to take that chance because you hate Donald Trump. Do you understand how insane that is? Think about the risk calculus. You would take the nuclear weapon out of it. Keep the 5%. Say it's 3%. If I told you, this just goes to show you how crazy Trump derangement syndrome is, that he's effectively taken out the Mullah regime and is doing his best to neuter this nuclear threat right now. If I told you getting on a plane out of Jacksonville Airport that, hey, there's a 3% chance this plane's going to crash today. Don't bullshit me. There is 0 people in the chat, 0 who are getting on that plane. Why? Because there's a 3% chance. It's like, that's a lot considering a black swan event but I could die. Like the end, that's the end. Don't get dead. I don't understand though. You've got probably better than 3% chance if the Iranians get a nuke that they'll use it or try to use it, and you're mad at Donald Trump for trying to do something about it? Folks, I'm sorry, I don't get this. Oh, you're a supporter of Donald Trump. That has nothing to do with it. We do not agree on everything. That's fairly obvious. But I'm a huge supporter of his leadership and the willingness to have the balls to do something about a threat that tons of other leaders, both Republicans and Democrats, have done nothing about because it was a political consequence for them. Whatever, say all the bad shit you want about Donald Trump if you're a crazy liberal talking head. But can you at least acknowledge this was a very real threat that finally someone had the gonads to do something about? Folks, I know it's not the biggest news day in the world. However, this is probably one of the most important stories of our time. So it is the biggest news day in the world because it involves an existential threat to your life, the life of your kid and your grandkid. And that's a fact, Jack. That experience over the last year changed me. Would it change you too? It's not unique to me. Again, I don't spend entire shows talking about it, and you know that. But you want to talk about someone who went in there and just saw something totally different than what I thought existed? This threat is real. Anyone telling you otherwise is lying to your face. And if you think the government, even under the finest leadership, the perfect leader if there was one, time is not your friend. You launch one of these things. They're in that movie, there's the national security advisor is getting like a colonoscopy and is under anesthesia. They can't reach him. You don't think that's going to happen throughout the government? I don't care how good the leaders are. You really want to take that chance? I'm sorry, but I don't. The world has hostages, my 2 kids. And I'm not taking that chance. I don't care how much you hate Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump and support his leadership and think he's been a bold and decisive guy. I'm not willing to take that chance with the freaking nuclear sword of Damocles hanging over our heads forever. I'm not doing it. That's why you see things like this blockade. We've had some tragic U.S. casualties, no doubt, and thank the Lord for these heroes who've given their lives in service of this great country. But we've not had casualties anywhere close to major wars we've had in the past. We now have a blockade in effect where the Iranians are getting the double-barrel middle finger. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I addressed it with Levin and others yesterday. However, this has been an economic kick in the nuts to the Iranians, and they've shown militarily that there's nothing they can do. We've blockaded effectively their ports, not the entire strait, but their ports, for now a couple of days. And what have the Iranians been able to do? Almost nothing about it, which is demonstrated to the world, the Russians and the North Koreans, that their Iranian partner has no nuts. You ever see that scene in the original Ghostbusters? Nicholas scene? He has it back, has no. That's what they see about the Iranians. Here's about 20 seconds of Secretary of War Hegseth discussing how you can't, the Iranians, it's all bluster on their, how can you control the strait with no Navy and with our U.S. Navy controlling your ports? Just explain how this is happening. Check this out.
Of the strait, because we have real assets and real capabilities. And we're doing this blockade, performing it with less than 10% of America's naval power. The math is clear. We're using 10% of the world's most powerful Navy, and you have 0% of your Navy. That's real control. And we have a long track record of dealing with pirates and terrorists.
Secretary of War Hegseth he did an amazing job this morning in the presser. I am a big fan, obviously. However, my job is to not be anyone's fan and be objective. I'm telling you objectively, putting that aside, he did an amazing job at the presser explaining that what the Iranians are doing right now with this fake bullshit line that they control the strait is they're not engaging in control. They're engaging in just piracy. Hey, pay us a toll like Blackbeard. Pay us a ransom or we're not going to let you go. That's all they're doing. And they can't even do that right. How stupid do you have to be to not even get the piracy part right? God forbid they give anybody credit about that. And I got to move on to a couple other things. However, just wrapping this up, folks, again, please, I'm begging you to be a data-driven person and be a reason, be a rational maximizer. If you use reason, even despite emotional pleas from people to take positions that sound ridiculous, and you keep your compass true north, you will never, ever fall prey to golden calf politics and bullshit podcasters. I promise you. I promise. And you will do your best to not get dead.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause this here and move on. But he's right. I mean, we have to look at this realistically, not the way that the spin has been put on it by the mainstream media and the Democrats, deep state, all the TDS people. Let me click on this Rumble link. Dan Bongino, I share these videos out, okay, on Facebook and other places. And I got somebody commented on Facebook about how Dan Bongino puts out misleading information. I don't know that I've ever heard anything misleading from Dan Bongino. Another troll. He talks about him all the time. Let me click on this Rumble link and show you that this video does come from the Dan Bongino show. I'm following his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, excuse me. Let's jump back here and see what Kim's Coffee Talk. This is a channel that I've just started sharing on Mertech.com. I saw her information and I thought it was interesting. She has a morning show. So nothing screams louder than a dying thing. Stay focused on what's important. Okay, let's check it out.
And AI. Y'all, the AI is getting crazy out there, I mean, you've seen it. I've seen it. Here's, one of the little guys that we like to follow, laughing about AI, the one with the really nice lips. You know the guy that I'm talking about. Well, how about this one? Did you know that December is spelled with an X? Did y'all know that? I mean, you're smart people out there. So my guess is, hold on just a minute. I'm going to play that. Watchman for you. Here's the attack. Okay, I'm going to come back to that in just one moment. Badass Mommy is in the house. Minnie Ball is here. Good morning. But listen, y'all. For those of you who do count on AI to get through whatever it is you got to get through, either work, projects, whatever it is, if you're depending upon AI, you better stop. Go back to using your own brain. This amazing computer that's up there in your head. It's a muscle. And if you exercise it to maximum, you can really get some huge results out of it. But this one is going to show you AI showing you how December is spelled with an X. Don't forget the X in December, you stupid people. Right? God almighty. AI. It's going to be the death of us, y'all. It really is. All right, let's listen. Here, the guy with the great lips. Here we go. Here he is. Get him back over here. Come here. There.
Which month in the year is spelt with an X?
That would be December. It's got that X right in the middle, like a little holiday surprise.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because this test is pretty important. So awesome. Thank you for updating me on that.
No problem at all. If you've got any other questions, big or small, I'm here to
help.
Are you,
just to confirm, you're sure that it's December has an X in it?
I should have been more careful. I misspoke earlier. Oh. December doesn't actually have an X. The month you're thinking of is October. Thanks for asking again.
Okay.
Clarity is
perfect. Yeah, it's okay to make mistakes like that. Well, wish me luck on the test.
You've got this. Wishing you all the luck, though I bet your hard work will do most of it.
Yeah, October has an X.
Exactly. That's sneaky X.
October is spelt with an X.
You've got it.
October's got an X.
That's locked in now.
Are you sure?
Absolutely sure. October is spelled with that X right after the O. You're all set.
Spell it. Spell it. Spell it, please.
Sure. October is spelled October. There's that X sound, but it's actually just a C and a T.
Okay, then which one has an X?
That's going to be February.
Y'all, I'm telling you, you got to laugh at this kind of stuff, right? I mean, crazy. Sorry, AI guy. Sorry. Okay. All right. So just again, we'll pull back from the AI conversation for just a moment, and give AI a test and see. Listen, don't forget, you've got one of the most amazing computers right up here on top of your shoulders, and the more that we or the less that we use it, the more stupid we become. Don't be a stupid. Right? We're trying not to be so stupid over here. So I'm saying, I think the more you pull away from AI, the better. But yeah, don't forget, y'all, February. It's February that is spelled with an X in it. Ding, 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 ding. Anyway, okay, so here we go. Watchman for You has provided this link of the Turning Point USA reporter. And see, Caitlin Bennett was the name. That's why I guess I wasn't able to find anything. You're talking about Savannah Hernandez. Savannah Hernandez, she was assaulted. And these freaks that assaulted her, what you need to know in case you didn't, stupid head, Max Headroom. That's right, stupid head. Hey, Realtor Girl took an AI class yesterday for real estate. Candy, I've taken a class too like that, and listen, in some cases, as far as like loading things into the multiple list, and you loading up your pictures and let the AI describe the pictures, and it does a pretty good job doing that. But what I don't want it to do is be spelling February or strawberry with 2 R's. You know how it is. But back over here to the Turning Point conversation. Savannah Hernandez, not Caitlin Bennett. Maybe that's who you're talking about. So apparently these folks that attacked her are 3 family members. These are 3 angry family members. And one of their own family members, the daughter of the angry man, came out on social media and said, "Look, these are my family, and I don't agree with them. I am not in alignment with what they're doing and the behavior." Man, realtors without AI will be replaced, is what the instructor said. I'm glad my time here is going to be done. My real estate career will be done by the time that happens. And you know what? I just that's what a good AI instructor and maybe, I don't know, is the instructor trying to sell you an AI program? That would be the thing to be said. Yeah. Hey, if you're a realtor without AI, you're going to be replaced. Well, let me tell you something. We're still doing business the old-fashioned way. We want to meet and greet people. Use your brain out there. Sometimes it takes longer. Nope. Sue Coates said she saw something about Caitlin Bennett. No, not Savannah. It was about Caitlin. Well, this is interesting because if you've been following the little attack scenario that happened over there at Turning Point, Savannah Hernandez, she definitely got pounded on. They knocked her around. Let's just play it for a minute. They knocked her around, and now they're arrested. Thank God, because she got them all on video. And these 3 people are family members. Pay attention to that part of it. So what a sick and twisted, nasty family. Hey, this might be the family that, you went to Thanksgiving dinner and they told you couldn't come in unless you got a big jab. And it may be that's why these people are losing their freaking mind, is because they've all been poked to death, so to speak. Let's listen for just a minute.
I'm outside of the Ripple Eye facility here in Minneapolis, and I have been here just filming what's going on, and I am now being swarmed by the radical left wing.
Family member. That's the nasty mother. I believe that's the mother.
The Trump
There's the sister. There's the crazy sister of the crazy. Oh, that's the daughter of the crazy mother.
Shoulder touch me. This woman is like right up on me. She like keeps touching me, and yeah, I'm here by myself. Stop.
What a nasty biatch. Listen, if somebody had to get up in my face like that, I'm not a girl that could just stand there and take it like that. And, you know, putting a big dildo in her face too. Like, quit doing it, you nasty skank. Yeah, don't touch my dildo. Don't touch my dildo, because I'm a sick biatch back here.
All I've been doing is filming this. I didn't even come here today to, try and interview people. I came here to simply observe. Oh, God. Hey, guys. Hey, you want to fucking play agitator or what? Don't play.
Absolutely amazing. Did we lock up here or what? Hello? Huh. I'm not sure what happened here, why we're just frozen. Let me move it forward. There we go.
Why are you saying I don't care about you? You just said you're an American citizen.
People are being terrorized. It doesn't matter if they're a citizen or not, based on the color of their skin.
Actually, you do have law and order in this country.
Women are getting raped. Do you understand that? You don't fucking give a shit about that.
I say,
You have kids?
man, get out of my face, you nasty biatch.
You don't know what the fuck. You don't know what. No. You don't know.
And okay, so here's the angry dad family, angry man, the three that get arrested.
I don't understand why this is freezing up like this.
Bam!
Look, what blowing in her ear.
The noise should be considered
you
an
would
assault.
think that would be assault.
I agree. Yeah, I'd have. Bless her heart, y'all. Bless her heart.
Unbelievable.
My daughter? No.
Oh, she face shoved her. She face shoved her. That's good.
Stop touching me!
Oh, now he shoves her.
You fucking touched me! Jesus Christ!
Leave me! I'm trying to leave!
Just go, though. We're trying to help you. Let's get you out of here. Trying to leave, let's go.
These people, these liberals, unbelievable.
Where do you need to go?
All their faces.
Where do you want me to go?
Jared, can we get her somewhere? We're trying to help you, though. Like, we helped
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did. We stopped people from hitting you because you
I was standing here for an hour.
If we didn't help you, you would have been
and started attacking me.
We told them to stop.
I didn't do anything.
But you're like trying to play victim so hard when we were literally.
Okay, so I have all this on camera.
And you.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause this and let me click on the Rumble link here and show you that this video does come from.
Here's the angry.
Does come from Kim's Coffee Talk. Great information. The link to this video is in the description box. Check her out. She every day she has a show. So, but again, this is what the liberals say. Uncloudy says, let's see, this is what no DOJ accountability for domestic terrorists like an Antifa looks like. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is what Democrats support. Okay? They must support it because they don't discourage it. Okay? They won't actually come out and say they support it, but they don't discourage it, which means they support it. Okay, let's jump back here. Yeah, on Cloudy in the chat, said this is what no DOJ accountability for domestic terrorists like Antifa looks like. Absolutely. Thank you, Uncloudy, for your input, and also Jarhead57 and Susie Poll 2016, all in the chat there. Let me close this out and slide down here and see what Doug in Exile has to say about. Turns out J.D. Vance was right. And that's so amazing how it always turns out that the Trump administration is right. Okay? The mainstream media, the Democrats, the deep state, all screaming and hollering. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, some of the others always screaming and hollering, but it turns out they're right. So many of these conspiracy theories come true. Let's check it out and see what Doug has to say.
A vote against Trump is a vote for Democrats. A vote against Trump's war. You want Democrats in power. If you complain about Trump's spending on the military for Israeli-controlled wars, you're helping only Democrats, not MAGA. That's my premise. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. And the only way we can lose is by joining the Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Rand Pauls, the Thomas Masseys, that which divide us. Or, in fact, they're more dangerous than Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Flat Thune, but Cornyn. The worst rhinos are not as bad as the ones, and they're not as divisive, and we're more likely to lose with the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world than the John Thins. That's why I point all of my ire at them. It's not that I like rhinos. It's that you still have a chance of Democrats not winning with rhinos. Here's J.D. Vance on the upcoming election, on the SAVE Act.
There's no point. No. Because, or let me give you another example, the SAVE Act, okay? A lot of people want the SAVE Act. I want the SAVE Act. I've been fighting for the SAVE Act literally since day one of the administration. And I've seen a lot of people saying, what the hell's the point of voting for these guys if, you've got 3 Republicans joining with the Democrats to prevent the SAVE Act from passing, or I guess 4 Republicans.
And probably 5 Republicans. It's probably growing against the SAVE Act. And he's right. And by the way, the only reason why I'm repeating this video is because I've heard that sentiment in my chat. What's the point of voting? Why get involved? The Democrats do not want you to get involved. So there's bots in the comments that say, what's the point? If they don't pass the SAVE Act, because it doesn't look like it's very hard to pass the SAVE Act, they want you to go, fine, don't vote. As if that is, you're basically voting for a Democrat when you do that.
My response to that, yes, it is annoying to me that there are only 45 or 46 Republicans who will fight politically to get the SAVE Act passed. But you know what? 10 years ago, that number was 35.
So we're doing better. We have 10 better than 35 under Obama. So we're going the right direction. What if the next election, instead of it being 45 votes, 10 years ago it was 35, now it's 45. What if in the next election we could get 55 wins in the Senate? We won't, because all of the marketing on the right, all of the right-wing marketing is, I hate Congress. I won't vote for those rhinos. They're all scumbags. They're going to lose this fall. They're all going to lose. And then you get Democrats in charge. Better or worse? Again, if you say I'd rather have a Democrat than Cornyn, you're saying you'd rather lose and you'd rather be a pro-choicer, just psycho, mutilate children. You see what I mean? The Republican rhinos are still better than the best Democrat. In fact, every rhino still votes more with Trump than even John Fetterman, who's someone that we respect.
So the answer to frustration is engagement. Don't give up on this process. Get more involved in this process and demand more from people like me. That's how we take our country back. I just think it's important to say that.
That's going to fall on deaf ears. I'm sorry. He's at Turning Point USA. Get more involved, not less. Get more involved. You can't win by losing, and you'll never win by lunatics like Thomas Massey. And by the way, you know how much I hate Thomas Massey. I mean, just hate his politics. I think he's dumb. I think he's terrible I think he's worse than any Democrat. However, Ed Galrain has to beat him. A Democrat could take Thomas Massey's seat, and I'd go for Galrain or Thomas Massey over a Democrat. Do you hear that? And if I can support Thomas Massey, you can support Cornyn. Because if Cornyn's ahead of Paxton, I hope Cornyn wins. You know, I got nothing for Cornyn. But this is about winning majorities, or you're electing Democrats. Here's something similar. This is like to all the pro-lifers and pro-choicers. You might be a Catholic. So here's Megan Basham. I just really loved this tweet about Mark Kelly, because Mark Kelly is psychotic, as you all know. So here's Mark Kelly back in the day. Today, I'm at Planned Parenthood to talk to providers and clinic leaders about how the chaos surrounding abortion rights in Arizona is affecting healthcare for women. He's very vague about the chaos. He doesn't say like, we're going to full on, kill us a 9-month-old right now in the womb. He just says the chaos in Arizona is affecting healthcare for women. He's not a soldier. He's not a hero. If he's a coward, if he was really a brave, he'd just tell you the truth that he's pro-Planned Parenthood. He says, I won't stop fighting for Arizonans' right to make their own healthcare decisions. There's a picture of him. And that's why, and there's some Catholic pro-lifers going, he's a good little Catholic. And you're dumb. Here's Senator Mark Kelly. Remember what he said about Planned Parenthood. Here's Senator Mark Kelly criticizing Trump 3 days ago. As a Catholic, I find it abhorrent that the President of the United States would basically attack the successor of St. Peter. How Catholic is, and all the Catholics are supposed to go, yeah, Mark Kelly over Trump. Trump's a Protestant. Mark Kelly's a good Catholic. Though Mark Kelly just now, he's for Planned Parenthood. Murder. He says Donald Trump is flailing. His war in Iran has led to death and injury of American service members and death of Iranian children. What a lying scumbag. And anyone who would vote for him or support him or attack Trump's war, he will attack anyone or anything to try to protect himself, even the church that millions of Americans find faith and comfort in every day. By the way, most Catholics support Trump, not Mark Kelly. The American people deserve a president who understands the consequences of his words and take responsibility for his actions. And finally, here's the neocons over at the Commentary magazine. This is Hugh Hewitt. This is stunning and says everything about the Trump derangement syndrome afflicted and nothing about the POTUS, the Iranian regime murdered 35,000 of its own people. So here goes. How much do you hate war? How are you an isolationist? Here's John Podhoretz. I've listened to John Podhoretz's Commentary magazine podcast, by the way, every day since about 2014.
So we are in an informational atmosphere that makes American action much more difficult. And of course, domestically, we have this totally divided country in which, 40% of people would rather the United States lose this war than Donald Trump be credited with a success.
Did you catch that? 40% of this country would rather we lose this war. Those are Democrats. They'd rather lose this war than give Trump credit for his success. That's the panicans, that's the libertarians, the isolationists, the ones that claim to be America first. Is it America first to say I'd rather lose this war than give Trump a success? J.D. Vance lays down the truth. Mark Kelly is a liar. And I support this president. I support the military. And I support MAGA and Republicans. And anyone that thinks they're going to win without MAGA or Republicans. MAGA can't win without the Republican Party, and Republicans can't win without MAGA. So everyone get on the Trump train. He's the one that took a bullet, not you complaining about this war. I'm Doug in Exile. Over a
Couldn't get my mic back on. Okay, as you can see here, this video does come from Doug in Exile. And what he's saying is right. I mean, you can't argue with that. These people, we need to be patient, that's for sure. But the thing of it is, there are people that would like you to think that Trump isn't being successful, but he is. Okay, this does come from Doug in Exile. I'm subscribed to his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Let's jump back here and see what Wendy Bell has to say. Congress is a criminal syndicate. Absolutely. Let's check it out and get her take on this.
So, my neighborhood is a complete cluster ball. It's time, and I'm grateful for it. But God, does it suck when it's happening. Whose entire community is under construction right now? Because the city of Pittsburgh, I don't know. Is there a street in the city of Pittsburgh that doesn't have a construction vehicle on it? Or somebody, hey, if you need a job, you could be a flagger anywhere in the city of Pittsburgh. There's got to be a million of them. They're everywhere. Streets are closed. They just did this multi-gazillion dollar upgrade of all of the plumbing, something that needed to happen. We had water pipes dating back to the 1800s, and they kicked the can, raise the rates, right? And then finally they're like, well, snap. We've got a problem, Houston. And now they're like digging up every single street in the city, which is fine. You're okay with that. You understand it's the part of maintenance and progress, right? But every single road is a cluster. There's swaths of asphalt that have been laid down to cover up the spots. And now finally, the road crews are out. It's so curious how it all coincides with the draft. Isn't it weird? Thanks, NFL. Appreciate it, because we've needed our streets paved for a while and the trash picked up. And now all of a sudden the streets are being torn up. They're doing all the milling and the paving, multi-million-dollar project. And today it happened to be in every single aspect of my life. Trying to leave my house, flagger is like, no, sorry, you got to go that way. Well, you head that way, and there's a detour and another flagger. Oh, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go around this thing. And I watched school buses, construction equipment, tractor trailers trying to get around all of this stupid roundabouts in my stupid neighborhood, right? So look, I'm happy. I'm grateful. Thank you. We need it. It's progress. But you have to also be in the mindset that wherever you're going, when these projects are happening in your community, you've got to give yourself a lot of extra time. Today, behind the wheel of the car, I was white-knuckled. I was saying things that ladies shouldn't be saying. And I was super frustrated until I was like, you know what? This isn't on my schedule. I have absolutely no control of this. There is nothing I can do. I can't force the people in front of me to pay attention. It is the pedal on the right when the light turns green, right? And you have to take it back a notch and try to breathe. I'm not good at that. This is what's going on in our country right now. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm in traffic, gridlock traffic, right? And I'm so frustrated by it. I'm running late, but we need it to happen. And so you have to grin and bear it and just plug through it. That's exactly what's going on in this country. Donald Trump has every single jackhammer that the government owns, and they're doing it now everywhere. Blowing up everything, tearing up everything. The House of Cards, this whole Congress is a crime syndicate idea that is today's show, is becoming more and more evident. He's broken through the concrete. Right? He's made it down to the pipes. We've replaced the pipes. We're now in the 21st century. Thank goodness. And now it's a matter of filling in, repaving over everything. This is what's happening. Do you see this Ruben Gallego guy, the senator from Arizona, who looks like he's either on speed, meth, coke, whatever the hell it is that makes you sweaty and nervous and look around with huge eyes? He held a press conference yesterday impromptu to try to tell everybody, I had no idea Eric Swalwell was reportedly roofing girls at bars, dragging them back to hotels and raping them. No. I mean, he's my best friend, and he was at my wedding, which, by the way, I used campaign money to pay for, but it was a hell of a time in Puerto Rico, wasn't it? Right? And now all this stuff is coming out. It's not just Democrats. It's Republicans. It's a culture. It's a problem. President Trump is blowing it up. This whole time that you and I have waited for. Did you guys hear about this? This is huge. This is a story that's going to get buried today. And I dare say it is the most important story of the day. And it's the clown whistleblower guy who was listening in on President Trump's phone call with Vladimir Zelensky back in 2017. It's him being referred by the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, for criminal referral. This is a pretty big deal. Criminal investigation by the Department of Justice. I want to remind you how low these people went. to destroy one man because he had all of the equipment and he wanted to change the pipes and blow up the streets and pave a new path. This guy lied. He was a Biden associate. He was a Biden jock sniffer. He was a guy who traveled regularly with Joe Biden to Ukraine while he was VP. This is a guy who hated Trump, hates conservatives, and they used his testimony to impeach President Trump. Did you guys know that between the years 2017 and 2019, there were more than 9 million Facebook posts about Russiagate, about Donald Trump being a Russian asset, about he's working with Putin? Oh my God. It was all so ridiculous. And you and I sat back and we're like, no way. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. What a corrupt bunch of losers. Oh, and then they dropped a virus on us, trying to tell us it happened in some wet market because they think you're stupid, because they're so used to getting away with it, because they're so used to you just dealing with the potholes, driving around the rough pavement, finding detours around the sunken areas in your road, proverbially speaking, America. But you'll just deal with it. You'll just grin and bear it, move along, and don't worry about this. Well, you know what? No. We're tired of it. And this whole culture, whatever this culture is in Congress, that seems to manifest itself in the men there. I don't know. I'm sure the chicks are nasty too. But the men in Congress who believe that because they put on a freaking American flag pin on their lapel, that they have, I guess, justice to go and touch, intimidate, harass, or rape any woman that they wish. It's all going to go. And so here is my connection to my drive into the studio today. What's happening in my community is sorely needed. It's decades in the making. It's finally happening. It's finally going to be fixed. Somewhere down the road, the roads will be paved. The traffic will move smoothly. And you and I can get back into the basic business of driving around where we need to go in our lives. This process that's unraveling before our very eyes, we've waited for I dare say, a decade.
At least.
It's easy to get frustrated by the pace. I get it. White-knuckled on the steering wheel. But it's happening. One by one, day by day, the change is happening. And it must. I believe in making America great again. I believe that there are a lot of different kinds of people who can make that happen. It's not just President Trump. But I believe we're on the cusp of a phenomenal reset that is going to take people, and you're going to hear from her next, Rosie O'Donnell, waking up and seeing the fraud that she fell for, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's roads being repaved or it's people like Rosie O'Donnell snapping out of hibernation and the trance and seeing what it is that we have been asking for. That time has arrived.
Wow.
Enjoy. Few flagmen and detours along the way. But we're getting there. When we come back, she's literally on the brink of tears. Eric Swalwell, I believed in you. I thought you were everything. Really? Oh my. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
All right. And, talking about this whistleblower thing, now, it's against the law to file a false police report. Okay, you can get arrested for that. I'm sure it's not a felony, but there are laws against people making false police reports, okay? I would think it would be the same thing. A false statement that leads to an investigation about something that didn't happen, I would think that there would be laws against that as well. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Nobody ever suffers any consequences in Washington, D.C. Oh, I'll just go ahead and resign. Okay, that's fine then.
Drill.
Okay, let's get this back here. See where we're going.
Of this story that the whistle. Welcome back to the. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I want to quickly underscore the importance of this story that the whistleblower who started the entire ball of wax that ultimately led to the first impeachment of President Trump and sucked 2 years of oxygen out of his administration, as all he was trying to do was close the border, build the wall, bring down prices, drill, baby, drill, tell the truth, protect you and your family, right? All of the things that he tried to do, strengthen the military. We got sucked into this nonsense from a whistleblower who really wasn't. And by the way, the guy who helped Eric Charmella, who the Democrats have tried desperately to protect because they didn't want anybody to know just how big he was into Joe Biden and the Democrat Party's pocket. We must also talk about Alexander Vindman, that no-lipped little weasel who fancies himself now a senator. He's running for Marco Rubio's seat in Florida. Are you out of your mind that this guy, Eric Charmella, is being now criminally referred? He's going to be investigated by the FBI. They could put together a grand jury, could dig into it. This guy could be toast, as well he should be. He made it up. And the Democrat Party knew it. And they allowed it to happen. The same way they allowed the whole Epstein debacle to grow into a big nonsense ball of zero. It's obnoxious. And it has to stop. And it's about to. Wheels moving. Rosie O'Donnell, I just don't know what she's going to say. I don't know what she's going to say next. Buyer's remorse. First of all, she bought into the whole, this country sucks so much and Donald Trump is such clear and present danger. Oh my gosh. He's a MAGA extremist. He's a fascist. He's a racist. He's a misogynist. He's a rapist. He hates everybody. I'm moving. And then she moves and she's like, well, snap. Everywhere else other than America isn't the best, right? And so she weasels her way back to America and finds out that one of her besties, Eric Swalwell, who she hi, Eric, how are you? She thought he was a cutie bug, fell for it hook, line, and sinker. What a cute family, man. Oh, look at his cute little family, his kids and everything. I love him. Gave money to his campaign, fought against people who were like, dude, Eric Swalwell's a creepy son of a gun. And he was like, how dare you? She was talking about squirrels. Woman has issues. I'm serious. She's going to need to make an extra appointment with her therapist because she's very upset that Eric Swalwell didn't turn out to be worth the money she gave his campaign. Let's listen in. Rosie O'Donnell feeling very crestfallen and swindled. Part 1.
Country when you're there. Like, you can't help but feel it. Now, can we talk a little bit about Eric Swalwell? I know that guy. In the what kind of way? Like, spoke to him on the phone a couple times. Donated money to him, I believe. Talked about him in some public appearances years ago about how I believed in him and his cute little family and 2 kids and standing up to all those people when he, berates them for their moralist behavior. And then all this comes out about him. And it's heartbreaking to me, And I wrote him a little message and I said, Bill Clinton broke my heart and now you did too. The conclusion I've come to, men suck.
No, you make bad decisions. Men don't suck. There are some who do. But before you make a blanket statement like that, why is there never personal responsibility on your part, Rosie? You fell for it. We didn't. And then we told you. And you went out and you doubled down and then you tripled down and then you went freaking nutty and then you moved. So I'm pretty sure the problem isn't that men suck. I'm pretty sure it's that you have bad decision-making capabilities. You fell for it. You've fallen for all of it. All of it. How many others is it going to take, Rosie? Well, she comes back literally on the brink of tears. And she says, basically, it's men's fault. It's all about men. They're horrible, awful people. No, you have responsibility, sweetie pie. You do.
The way that they are physiologically, they can't sort of control their sexual urges. This is what I find. And you get all of these things now coming out with Epstein and child abuse in America, and in what communities is it more rampant? And do you think Jeffrey Epstein was the only one running a brothel for children for billionaires? I don't think he was.
Rosie, where have you been? Because if you watch this program, you might not like me because I support President Trump, but you would get it bashed into your head sooner rather than later that you don't ask critical questions. You don't think objectively and look for results before you put all of your eggs in the basket of a Democrat. You're so blinded by hating Trump, hating this idea that we should work together to make America great again, that you put yourself out there and now we all look at you as a lunatic. And I have no idea why your filter's on 100% sweetness. We know what you look like. It's okay. Nobody's judging you on that. We've judged you well beyond that because of the dumb stuff you've said. So don't be looking for an apology from the men of the world, Rosie. You owe us an apology. How about that? Where does that factor into your analysis? Is it the problem with men? And now all of a sudden, we're able to determine what a man is. Isn't that curious? Huh. But I'm sure Rosie believes that she should get behind the whole tranny thing, right?
Yeah.
Do you see the conundrum, the pretzel twists, the acrobatics? It's about to get really interesting. Eric Swalwell's taken down Ruben Gallego, senator from Arizona. Oh boy, get the popcorn next.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause this. Let me click on this Rumble link here and show you that this video does come from Wendy Bell Radio. I'm following her channel. I've given her a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Great information, folks. Great information, and it's just the beginning, okay? Now, I'm going to include this and Dan Bongino's video in my daily news wrap-up, so you'll be able to come back and watch more of this great information. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and copy the live chat. Had a lot of good chats in here tonight, folks. Appreciate that. Let me copy that into a comment so it will be a permanent part of this video, because as we know, once the live stream is ended, the live chats are just kind of vaporized. All right, let me also remind you that these videos that I've shared with you are videos that come directly from the producers who created them. I have a link to the videos as well as a link to the producer's channel so that you can go and check out more information right here. Kim's Coffee Talk. There's a link to her channel there if you want to check her out. And Doug in Exile and Wendy Bell and Dan Bongino. And these videos that I've shared with you here are videos that I've posted on Mertech.com, where I have over 40 no-nonsense, common sense, logic and truth videos. Here's the Kim Coffee Talk video that I shared with you, Doug in Exile video that I shared with you, the Dan Bongino video that I shared with you, and Wendy Bell's video that I shared with you. I update this site multiple times a day to give you fresh new information, and as I said, the link is in the description box. It's a free site. I don't ask for your name. I don't ask for your email address. I don't drop cookies on your computer. I don't have a bunch of ads popping up in your face. It's just no-nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth, the kind of information that you're not going to get on the mainstream media. Now, I'd like to share all of it with you, but unfortunately, I don't have the time to do so, and that is why I've put together my Mertech Daily News Wrap-Up. Here's the Wendy Bell radio video in my watch list that I said I was going to put in here so you could watch the rest of that. And the damn Bongino. It says I have 24 videos in here. I also have information from American Center for Law and Justice. Whistleblower lie exposes Adam Schiff. Now, we knew all this information, 8 years ago? 2018? We knew it back then. It's amazing that it takes 8 years for the intercoursing truth to come out. We have information from Anthony Bryan Logan, Black Conservative Perspective, Dr. Steve Turley, McWaters Effect, Robert Govea. Stop Nick Shirley Act threatens criminal charges in unconstitutional attack. They're going to put criminal charges on someone who discloses fraud in California. So if you're aware of fraud and you report that, you're going to get criminal charges against you? If that's not a WTF moment, I don't know what is. Okay, on the fringe, and we know, We the People News, tons of great information here, folks. But go ahead and take a break right now. Grab a cup of coffee and a donut, or a sandwich and a soft drink or a beer, or a nice glass of wine and some cheese. Give me about 15 or 20 minutes to get this set up in Rumble Studio, and meet me back here and we'll get this going. But in the meantime, I do want to thank you for being with me. Hopefully, I'll get to see you again later, and may God bless. But before I take off here, I want to go ahead and share some information with you from Rumble Wallet. Great stuff.
They can cancel your accounts, freeze your cards, decide what you're allowed to buy, say, or support. Big banks and financial institutions have total control, and they use it. That's why financial independence matters more now than ever.
Introducing Rumble Wallet, a wallet built for real freedom. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money, not a bank, not a government, not a tech company. Designed for patriots who stand tall, this cap captures the enduring spirit of liberty. The Liberty Bell stands proud. This isn't a credit line they can shut off, it's your wallet, permanently. Yours to protect your future.
Yours to protect your family. When the system fails, when institutions turn on their own people, financial sovereignty is the difference between security and vulnerability. Buy digital assets like Tether, Tether Gold, and Bitcoin in one secure place. No permission, no middlemen, no cancel button. And when you want to support the creators you actually believe in, you can use the Rumble Wallet app to directly tip content creators securely, instantly, and without interference.
This isn't a credit line they can shut off. It's your wallet, permanently. Yours to protect your future. Yours to protect your family. When the system fails, when institutions turn on their own people, financial sovereignty is the difference between security and vulnerability. Rumble Wallet isn't about politics. It's about freedom, ownership, and protecting what's yours. So take control today. Download Rumble Wallet now and step away from the big banks for good. True ownership, true protection, true financial freedom.